What's going on, guys? Welcome to episode 210 of the Tastecast, our weekly podcast where we talk about all things gaming. My name's Seth, and joining me, of course, today is Chevy. Chevy, how you doing? Are you excited to watch some of the videos we got lined up? I showed you a little preview of what we'll be watching, and how you doing?
Doing good. No complaints, to be honest.
I feel like we got some videos to react to this time around that you might be a little more interested in.
Yeah. I had originally brought up as well Guilty Gear Season 4, but we both already
know what's coming with that.
Yeah.
Which is...
maps, colors, and 4 characters as per usual. But this time they're doing 2 return characters, which is Dizzy and Venom. A new character whose name I cannot remember, but they're new, so it'll probably take me a moment.
Okay.
And then the first ever guest character for a Guilty Gear game, which is Lucy from Cyberpunk Edge Runners.
Which is very cool to see them kind of doing the branching out thing, because like Tekken and Soul Calibur have been really good about like guest characters. Street Fighter does. Mortal Kombat, they all do it. But it's cool to see them do that, just because you were telling me it's like one of the more popular fighting games right now.
I think it was the third most at EVO, if I'm not mistaken. Correct me if I'm wrong. But
really cool, because we've been playing Guilty Gears forever.
Yeah, and Strive really brought in. It's funny, Strive and Street Fighter 6 both kind of did the same thing, where they brought in a bunch of new players. So
yeah, just Guilty Gear was like a very niche, just like Earth Defense Force in a weird way, like very niche game. Monster Hunter, very niche game. Oh yeah, and Earth Defense Force 6 comes out tomorrow. Check it out. Yeah. And all those games have like grown in popularity. It's been really cool to see. So. It's weird to say Monster Hunter has grown in popularity because it's so fucking big, but
I neglected. They're adding a 3v3 mode as well. So like tag battle.
So do you use all 3 of the characters versus somebody else's characters, or can you play all together? Or
I don't know the specifics. I just know it's 3v3, and people can tag in and out.
Interesting.
Yeah.
That'd be neat if you could be on the same team and tag out with each other.
Yeah, it would be.
Yeah. Because there needs to be more like cooperative options in fighting games, I think.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, it's kind of tricky to do because obviously the nature of a fighting game is to be competitive. So.
Yep. Yeah, sure, but also, just kind of evolving the formula and turning it into something to get more people to play it, I think is also smart. So.
Yeah.
I also like to see it's very hard to do, but like innovation within that genre, just like racing games, it's kind of hard to bring new stuff to it because it's such a concreted formula.
Yeah. I would say it's kind of done.
Yeah, that's the weird thing, is like fighting games are kind of done. Like this is what they do. So, yeah.
Yeah, but I mean, like Street Fighter 6 did a really good job of kind of like starting in a way where like it was approachable for new people while still being technical enough for older players, and then adding that single player mode, which even if a percentage of people who only play that mode decide to dip their finger or their toes into competitive, that's increasing the community. So
sure, yeah. It's kind of sad that the biggest evolution in fighting games of like the last like 8 years has been the story campaigns, basically.
Yeah, and then more interactive hubs to hang out in for social reasons.
Yep.
So.
Yep.
Yeah, but I'm pretty excited. I've bought every season pass for Guilty Gear. I love the game, so I have a fight stick coming in the mail soon. So
I want to try it out. What's what is it again?
It's there's multiple names for it. I've heard people call it a leverless controller,
okay,
or a hitbox, or I'm not sure if hitbox is a brand or whatever. But specifically, I got the Snack Box Micro for anyone interested. They're on sale right now. I assume it's because EVO is happening or happened. They're like $60 off right now. So
deal. Really good deal.
And they work on everything, every platform. So
yeah, I really want to try it out, because I was thinking about when I was playing Tekken, buying a fight stick, but now I can try out that setup and see if I like that more. Mm-hmm. So
should have just Chris bring over because he has a fight stick. Just try them both out in one sitting.
Yeah, I mean, I know what to expect from Fight Stick, but I wouldn't be opposed to trying out his. I don't know what he has, but
I don't know.
Yeah.
But yeah. Other than that,
All good.
All good.
All right, cool.
You?
I'm good. A little tired. Haven't been getting a lot of sleep lately, but what's fucking new? And
I'm pretty good in that front right now.
You're pretty what?
I'm pretty good in that front right now.
Hopefully, after drinking this energy drink at 1 in the morning,
1 a.m.
I'll be feeling a little more spry. So yeah, I want to start the episode off with reading a couple comments. As you guys know, we used to do reading your comments, and I still will do it, but because it takes up so much time for the show, I figure if you guys ask us questions, I'll prioritize those before I just kind of got sloppy about it and just read every single one, which I thought was fun, but it kind of dragged on for a while. So
yeah,
we got some direct questions I wanted to read before we jump into what we've been playing. The first one is from Choom2077. From way back when we reacted to the Cyberpunk 2077 original gameplay.
Appropriate name.
I think still our most viewed video.
That's wild.
And yeah, it's crazy. Back when YouTube used to push the videos. And they asked, well, they said a lot of stuff. So they said, I wonder what your thoughts are on Cyberpunk 2077 after patch 2.12 and Phantom Liberty. It feels to me that the game is now at the place it should have been at launch. I started playing this game for the first time back in March, and I was just completely blown away by it. Then about a month ago, I began watching all these launch videos and their reactions. I had no idea how immensely hyped this game was. It was one of the most hyped games ever. Even when I went to E3 in 2019, it was like we got lucky getting into that because there was so much fucking hype around it. I wasn't much into gaming back in 2020. Very interesting. I finished my first playthrough and started up my second, now past 700 hours, and I absolutely love this game. Just can't put it down. Well, congrats on beating it, putting 700 hours into the game. I'm glad you love it. I also love the game. I think Phantom Liberty was one of my runner-ups for Game of the Year last year. Right?
I don't remember.
I don't remember either. But I loved Phantom Liberty. But we'll throw it to you real quick when it comes to your thoughts, maybe as opposed to the hype and how you got to the point where you're at now. I know you haven't beaten the game, but general thoughts.
Story of my life.
Yeah.
I enjoy the game. I haven't played since the most recent update and stuff, so I did reinstall it, and I have so much stuff to play. It's hard to like sit down and play a game a lot of times. But I enjoyed the game. I also enjoyed it at launch, though, which I think is important to mention. I tend to not, and I feel like you're the same way, but I don't want to speak for you, obviously. I don't generally overhype things to the point of disappointment when it doesn't meet my expectations. So, because my expectations are what are given to me. You know, that's why, especially if you've watched enough of the show, anytime we see a CG trailer, like one of the first things in my mouth is like, I mean, it's a cool trailer, but like, what's the game? And it's because like I want information. I don't want, shiny things, thrown in my face, basically. So, but overall, I enjoy the game a lot. I'm super happy for CD Projekt Red. They only were getting better and better, and it was obviously a bad speed bump due to a lot of different factors, but I really think the devs themselves have done nothing but improve over the years, and I can't wait to see what they do next. So.
Yeah. For anyone watching visually, you might have just saw a ghost float by behind us.
It was actually a ghost.
I was listening to you, but the whole time I was like, what the fuck is that? And I was like, oh yeah, I have this like scent diffuser thing that shoots fucking mist out. Apparently that's what happened. I was just watching that. I was like, what the fuck?
Gave us a little poof.
Yeah. Smells like lavender in here now.
No complaints.
So my thoughts on Cyberpunk 2077 is at present, you went back and you watched old reactions. That reaction was genuine. Me and Chevy still, but back then we're already Cyberpunk fans. We're fans of the tabletop, fans of the genre.
It's my favorite sci-fi.
The idea of them bringing that to a game was really exciting. A lot of speculation, a lot of excitement. Definitely one of, in my opinion, the most hyped games I've ever experienced, not just from like me, but like everybody. And so there's a lot of weight on CD Projekt Red to deliver, and sadly, they delivered the game in a not
incomplete.
in an incomplete way, but that doesn't really put it where it needs to be because it was different for everybody. Like I've explained a million times, is different for everybody. Like some people had like a straight just broken game.
Yeah,
like it should have never came out on PS4. We've gone over this a million times, but revisiting it because you asked. On like PS5, it worked but had like a lot of bugs, but had like less crashing issues. Or I think it had crashing issues. One of the two, either PC or PS5, had a lot of like crashing issues. And then on PC, I think had the least amount of bugs, but also everybody's PC is different, so compatibility is a huge factor. When I played it when it first came out, I liked it, but I recognized the game was like a year early in its development. I felt like I was playing an alpha or beta to a game, and so like while I was playing it and really enjoying it, I decided to stop playing it because I wanted to play what they intended for us to play. To be fair about it, now I could complain this shouldn't have come out like this. Why did it come out like this? Blah, blah, blah. But I recognized I was playing a game that I was enjoying, but I didn't want to play it in this state. So I put it off for a while, waited for a lot of patches, came back to it eventually, beat it, loved it. Phantom Liberty came out. I believe that was one of our Game of the Months. Did we play that? No, we didn't. I think we just talked about it for Game of the Year.
Yeah.
Because I like played through it for some reason. I think it's because Game of the Year is coming up. And I absolutely fucking loved Phantom Liberty as well. I thought it was like a really, really good expansion. The way they should be done, but CD Projekt Red is really good at that. Like The Witcher 3. And it was kind of sad because I knew that it was their first and last DLC for the game, and I just wanted more. With all the patches that came up to that point and until recently, the game is finally in a place where you'd be hard-pressed to find someone say its current state is bad, which is great for people playing the game, but also really great for CD Projekt Red because they got to live through a crazy experience, which is their fault. They released the game for whatever reason they did it in its state, but they got to experience having one of the most hyped games ever, releasing it, having one of the worst backlashes you've ever seen for a game releasing. Some of it, understandable. A lot of it was people who weren't even playing the game just trying to, tear shit apart. And then having a comeback story to releasing finally the game that everybody actually wanted. So it ended good, I think, for everybody. Us as the player, it ended well for. It ended well for them. I look forward to everything that they ever do in the future. They did not ruin my trust in them at all. I just think they were in over their head in terms of like jumping from RPG genre to first-person shooter RPG genre.
And red tape, of course.
And red tape. I think the game got forced out early on too early on because they were like, we need to sell this. You guys have been working on it for way too long. Plus, if you go way, 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 way back, and you look at there was like 3 or 4 pillars of what the game needed to do. Those pillars are because the Polish government gave them money to help fund the project because they wanted a great game coming out of Poland, which at this point it has.
That's what Korea's doing too, which is funny.
Yeah, what they should invest in stuff that will be culturally significant. I've said multiple times, like there's all these like cool games coming out of Poland. Like it's becoming like this like really interesting spot in Europe of like game development.
Right. And
that's something I would have never guessed before like CD Projekt Red. And so anyway, because they were kind of contractually obligated to do certain things, I think a lot of the higher ups at the company were like, we need to ship this. You guys have delayed it so many times now. And I've said this a million times at this point. I'll say it again. They should have delayed it again. And people are like, well, they would have been upset. People would be upset, but they would get over if it came out in the state that it should have been as opposed to coming out the state that it did because people felt betrayed. People get annoyed because delays. People feel betrayed if you release a game that is not up to the standard they're hoping for. So, mistakes were made. Lessons learned. Moving forward, they're going to be making games in Unreal Engine 5, so that makes sense. Although it kind of sucks because I think Cyberpunk 2077 on its own engine is like kind of an experience you can't have anywhere else because it's not on an engine other people are using. So, whatever. But anyway, I loved Cyberpunk 2077. I think it's a fantastic game. I still think it's like very unique. I don't think there's a whole lot of fucking games out there like it. And Phantom Liberty is a fantastic expansion and kind of a sad goodbye to that whole event that was in gaming of Cyberpunk 2077. So, yeah, I can't wait for what they make next, though. Yeah, hopefully that is a clear enough answer. Got anything else?
Nope, I never beat it, so.
You should do that. You should play Phantom Liberty. You got to beat Elden Ring as well.
I'm actively, spoiler alert, trying to do that. So.
Yeah. It's our game of the month, so we'll be reviewing that at the end of the month. Thank you for the comment, June 2077. Other question we got over on our last Tasty Cast, where we covered Concord Beta, the first Descendant impressions, Metal Gear Solid rip off, Black State, and more. Captain C27 returns to the channel. Welcome back. It's been a while. I'm glad things are going well enough that you can return and start talking with us about video games again. Captain C27 says, are you guys looking forward to Black Myth Wukong?
I mean, not really on my radar, to be honest. But once it comes out, and depending on what people say about it, I could have my opinion changed. But it looks fine to me. Like graphically, it looks great. But I'm not like necessarily like hyped on the IP itself. So like, you know, I don't have any like excitement going forward in that regard. And then other than that, you know, without context and like knowing how much about it, it just kind of looks like another action game. So I'm, we'll see. If it comes out as good, you know, I would probably pick it up. But right now,
yeah, I have a loose interest in it. I've been interested in it ever since it got announced because first off, we haven't gotten like a AAA quality Wukong game really. Like before anyone comes after me, because I've said this before, and people are like, "What are you talking about?" They name like every game that's ever been made ever. They're like, these are all based off Wukong, and I'm like, no, I mean like not based on Wukong, but just a Wukong game.
yeah,
I get a lot of things are inspired by it, or at least people think everything is.
wow, it's also going to be, you know, depending if they're ESL or not, they might misunderstand what you mean by that. So,
ESL,
English second language.
Oh, gotcha.
Yeah.
And so I think that's really interesting. This is a Chinese developer, right?
Yes.
I don't think have played a Chinese developed. No, I think Once Human is a Chinese game. I've played that, but we're seeing a lot of these Chinese developed games that have been in the works for a long time, but none of them have like really dropped yet. And I've been really curious to see like what a Chinese made game is like. Is it, you know, going to be high quality? Is it going to be on par with like Western AAA games? Is it just going to look nice? Because a lot of games look really nice nowadays, but when it comes down to, you know, the finer details, the gameplay mechanics, physics, stuff like that, they can be kind of held behind a bit.
It's also kind of a common complaint with like early on, like Korean games too, is they were always like gorgeous looking, but there was like systems about it that didn't really click well with like Western audiences. So, you know, this could be the same. I'm not saying it is going to be, but you know, it is a concern obviously because there's no precedent really to go off of here. So
yeah, it's unproven. So like it's hard for me to have like hype because I have nothing to go off of outside of what we're seeing, and what we're seeing looks interesting. The graphics are good, the imagination's definitely there. Gameplay looks very Souls-esque, which I'm a fan of Souls-like games, although I do have fatigue of Souls-likes now, not of the From Software ones, but the many people who are inspired by them. There's obviously a lot of really good ones, a lot of really meh ones, and I'm hoping this one will not be a meh one. It doesn't look like it, but it's been in development for so long, too, that I've kind of seen so much of it that I'm just kind of ready to play it. So I will likely pick it up when it comes out because I have been anticipating it. I don't want to say I'm hyped for it. I'm anticipating it because I have a lot of curiosities about it. Like I said, gameplay, graphics, all stuff looks really good. But, you know, I haven't played anything by this dev. so I don't have really much to go off of in terms of what I expect from them. So, but I want to play it. So, there's another one too. I think it's like a Chinese-made game that almost looks like Final Fantasy meets like other things.
Like the Devil May Cry looking one.
Yeah, that looks interesting as well. So,
I can't remember the name either, but yeah, people.
It's like Soulless something. I don't remember.
Something like that.
But anyway, that also looks interesting to me. But again, kind of uncharted waters when it comes to Chinese developed games. So I'm definitely open to them. I'm curious to see how they're received, and I will definitely be paying attention to reviews and people's impressions on it when it does release. So yeah, definitely curious about it. Yeah. Anything else you got on that? All right. Well, thank you for the question, Captain C27. And yeah, if you guys want us to answer some stuff, just ask us a question. And if it seems like it'll be a good topic to talk about, we'll throw it in probably at the beginning of the episode, because we still have a little more energy at the beginning to be having those conversations. By the end of the episode, I'm like, okay, I'm fucking out of here. All right, so with that, let's jump into what we've been playing. What games have you been playing, Chevy?
Okay. Well, I'll do these ones first, even though I think they'll all be kind of easy. But I played NHL insert number here, PlayStation Plus game that I can't talk about yet. I played.
Reminder: we'll be doing Plus Club and Game of the Month this weekend, and Plus Club will be covering NHL 24, Among Us, and Borderlands 3. And just let me play all three of those a little bit more. And then Game of the Month is Elden Ring, picked by Chevy. So,
yeah, played some Among Us, and by some I actually went ahead and I put in probably, I don't know, I got probably about half of one of the, I can't remember what they're called, but the little baby battle pass things they have. I also. First match, I haven't played Among Us in a while, and I won't get too into my opinions, obviously, but it gave me Imposter right off the bat, and I was like,
nice.
Awesome, this is not how I wanted to do my first match, so that was fun, reintroducing myself to the game that way. So let's see, I have been playing a lot of Elden Ring. A progress report, I guess, on that is... have finished every zone prior to the snow area in my co-op game now, with the exception of the Volcano Manor, because I have to do an objective in the snow area first before I can go back and fight Rykard. So yeah, but we just started the snow area, so that's where we're at right now. Finished all of Lendell, Atlas Plateau, etc., and everything south of it. So, and underground. Yeah, that game is massive. I honestly thought I was going to have a chance to beat it this month, and I'm not even close.
Yeah, it's huge. I also hopped back into Elden Ring, and because we got to play it this month, but also I've beaten the game, so I started playing Shadow of the Erdtree, but I haven't played it since it came out. So like I've played all the Souls-like games, but especially the From Software ones, but so I'm familiar with it. But I was like looking at everything, I'm like, fuck, what was I? What do I got going on here with my build, and how do things work? How do I call my horse? All this shit. And then I'm like, okay, I got to go to where Mog is at to go to the new location. I was like, wait, I don't think I ever fucking fought Mog. So I had to fight him. I don't want to talk too much about it, but he was kind of a fucking pain in the ass.
Especially for a warm-up boss, I'm sure.
Yeah, I hadn't played him forever, and then I run into this guy. I'm like, oh my! I was like, I was leveling. I'll just kill him quick, and I was like, ah, shit, he's got some crazy moves. So after a couple tries, I ended up getting him. But and so I have been playing through Shadow of the Erdtree. And for anybody who has played that vaguely, I'm at a centipede boss, and they're a fucking bitch.
Well, that's like every boss in that DLC, apparently. But
first, like 3 weren't so bad, but this one, I'm just like, I don't want to do this.
Yeah, I dipped my toes into the DLC on my non-co-op game and I only fought the giant pyre that you see when you.
Yeah, I never fought that. I need to go back and fight him. I went right past him. I was like, I got shit to find.
But yeah, that's the only like quote unquote boss I fought.
Yeah.
I also fought some nutcase out in the woods, which he gives you like a hand to hand weapon. So
Was it one of the like summon dudes that shows up that are red?
yeah, but he was already out and about, just wandering the woods.
Yeah.
But
Yeah, killed him too.
yeah, new weapon from him though, so that was cool.
Yep. Yeah, there's a lot of new shit. It's a pretty decent sized map. I almost have the whole
game. It's crazy.
I almost have the whole map uncovered already though. But I've not combed it for every little thing. So, but yeah. Anyway, you were talking about
I can't really go into much more.
Yeah,
I was just kind of giving a progress report. I've been playing a co-op with Chris. The co-op mod is still a bit buggy because they had to redo the whole thing when the DLC came out. So running into weird issues here and there, but it is what it is. Let's see what else we've been playing. I think I talked about it a little bit last time, but Bolero, I think it's
Balatro.
Balatro. That game, like visually, just like is not exciting, and then you start playing, like, oh, this is one of those games that just kind of goes, hey, you like messing with stats and stuff? I'm like, yeah, I do. And then you just start trying to come up with these crazy combos to basically just get high score and make it through multiple rounds.
Back when the game first came out, it was like getting like super fucking hyped. And then every time I hear people talk about it, it's like poker. I'm like, I'm not interested. And then people are like, well, it's like poker, but it's not really. But it's like poker, but it's not. And I'm just like, I don't know what that means. And so I looked it up on Steam, and I looked at the pictures. I'm like, I don't want to fuck. That doesn't look interesting to me at all. But I still hear people just going fucking crazy about Balatro. I'm just like, do I have to? But I did the same thing with, what's it called? Inscription.
Family share. You can always just download and play it. So.
Yeah. Yeah. But, yeah, I'm already not into card games already. But, like, just hearing so many people say it's so good, I'm just like, we should probably try it out.
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely, if the big itch, I think, is if you're like into the idea of like the RNG of a card game, and then just like getting all the perfect things and just watching the combo start racking up, because it's basically like a slot machine at that point. You're just like, you see numbers go do 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 do, and like, your brain goes, oh, that was amazing, and then you go to the next round. So
yeah, yeah, makes sense.
And then it's just poker on crack, because there's just modifiers, up like hundreds of modifiers you can get. So, and you unlock them as you play. And you open booster packs, and there's different kinds. So there's like, adding cards to your deck. Then there's also adding power-ups. There's adding jokers. There's chances to turn cards into foils and holographics and stuff like that, which gives them new abilities and stuff like that as well. There's other buffs you can get that will permanently increase the value of, like, let's say a full house, and then it'll be worth, like, this isn't the actual number, I'm just pulling a number out of my ass here, but like, 20 points in a 4 times multiplier, and then you'll get the right constellation for it, and it becomes 40 points in a 6 times multiplier next time you get one, and then that's a permanent upgrade for that game that you're playing. And so you just grabbing all this stuff and hoping RNG is nice enough to give you cards that work with your current build, essentially.
Almost sounds like a roguelite.
It very much is, yeah. And then there's different types of decks you start with. So it starts with the real basic ones, like, oh, these are red cards and they have this property, and then you get the blue cards and they have this property, and then you unlock a bunch of different decks to start with. So but it is fun, but if you do not like card games, it might be not so interesting. I'm not even the biggest card game fan, but I do like the combo aspect of it, I guess. It feels more akin to like a I don't even know how to word it, to be honest. Anyways, yeah, it's more like a roguelike, I would say. It just happens to have poker mechanics involved. So, but yeah, it's fun. So I've been playing that occasionally. It has the same problem I have, though, with games like Loop Hero and stuff like that, which is I start playing it, and then all of a sudden the sun is coming out, and I should be in bed. So
yeah, it's been my last couple of days.
Yeah. yeah, and then other than that, I've been playing Final Fantasy 14 Dawntrail. And last time I checked in with you guys on it, I was about halfway through it, and I was not super enthusiastic. It was fine. I'm happy to say the second half of the expansion is much more interesting. So
I'm expecting that.
Pretty happy now. That first half is a drag, in my opinion. Some people are going to disagree with me, I'm sure. I just don't not in love with a lot of the characters that you're playing around with, and the story is really like simple to start with because it's a lot of just like trying to give you the world information, but I don't think they let you actually play very much. It's a lot of dialogue and cutscenes. And I was just like, holy crap, dude, come on. And then the second half happens. I'm like, oh, this topic is actually super interesting. This is way better. I don't want to talk too in depth about it, obviously, because it's still pretty fresh and spoilers. But it touches on some topics that would be very taboo if it existed, because those ideas are kind of floating around in a very loose way right now, anyways. And then they're just realizing it in this like sci-fi setting. So crazy stuff. So and I like that kind of stuff because again, I like that kind of sci-fi. So, but yeah, happy. We'll see how it ends. Much more engaged in playing right now. And I have 2 jobs at 100 now. My Astrologian and my White Mage are both 100. I have to figure out when I'm going to start leveling next. It'll probably be Sage, just to start finishing off my healers before I move on to other stuff. And yeah, I haven't played any of the new classes yet, but I've only heard good things about both, so that's good.
It's good.
Viper and Pictomancer both looked kind of meh to me, but if they're fun to play, that opinion can change real fast. So
I assume they're newer classes, so they're going to have more modern thought process going into how they're designed.
Yeah, they did have to make changes to Viper already. They patched it. It had a bunch of positionals, and apparently they got a lot of complaints, so they got rid of a bunch of positionals. So now you don't have to be standing on the side to do certain moves and behind for other moves and stuff like that. So, which I think is a little bit of a bummer, but I'm not the target audience in it as a whole, because they have to appeal to everybody, and I definitely consider myself more of a, I don't want to necessarily hardcore, but pretty close. So my needs are different than the majority of the player base, which is going to be the casuals. So, but yeah. That being said, I think the game is fun still, which is good. 10 plus years in. Still pay for my subs. Still excited to check out the new content. I'm looking forward to seeing what the raid is like, especially because I know the setting for it now, because they've talked about it in the story already. So really simple premise, which is fine. Doesn't have to be complicated, but lets them kind of have some fun with it. I would imagine. So we'll see.
Yeah. I'll get to it when I do.
We'll see.
In 10 years.
Yeah. When it's going, when the servers are shutting down.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think
I do well under pressure, though. When I have to do something, that's when I do it. So.
But all the stuff I think is cool will be outdated by then.
Yeah. True. Anything else?
That's it.
That's it? Okay. So I've been playing, specifically in the last 3 days, a lot of Elden Ring. Like I said before, I'm doing Shadow of the Erdtree. Right now, I've already beaten the game. So we'll talk about that. That will be part of my review. It's kind of nice. Already having beaten the game, already have a strong opinion on it. And then I don't know if I'm going to beat the DLC by then, because that'll be this weekend.
It's a big one.
But some people say it's 16 hours. I don't know if that's true or not. I think I've already put 10 or 12 hours into it.
I think if you're boss rushing, it's probably 16 hours, but that's not. Play the game how you want.
Well,
I don't think you should play the game.
You need the Skadoo things.
Scooby-Doo trees.
Whatever the fuck they're called. And I've been trying to find every single one of those. So, I couldn't rush it if I wanted to. Plus, you'll get your fucking... unless you're one of those people who's going to fight them without armor and shit, or playing with a DDR pad or something stupid. But I respect it. But, saying stupid, most people aren't doing that shit. you would probably get your ass kicked. I know a lot of people are like, without the scadu things, because
Shadow.
The amount of people complaining about the DLC when it first came out, just like when the game came out, of it being too hard, and people were like, "Are you guys not grabbing these things?" Was a lot of people. So, yeah, you'd have to be pretty, I don't know, impressive or finding the things a lot quickly to be rushing through it anyway. So
Yeah.
Plus, the world's so like intricate and detailed that you'd be doing yourself such a disservice not exploring it, because they put a lot of work into it. But that's all I'm gonna say. That's what I've been doing in Elden Ring. We'll talk about it in full detail and finally give it a proper review this weekend. I have been playing. So I said this last Taste Cast. I picked up Days Gone because it was like $10. And I was like, I never beat that on PS4, PS5. Want to try it on PC. It plays great on PC. Looks better on PC. And I've kind of been using it as a like after work kind of chill game. Like I want to like shoot shit, but I don't want to get like too competitive. I typically will like hop on the finals or whatever, but like once late at night, I don't want to sit there and just get fucking really sweaty but you know, I'll knock out my dailies. But I need like a game where I can just kind of like chill out, sneak around, take out freakers, I think they're called in that game. Just kind of get some upgrades. It's been pretty fun. I think I'm probably over halfway through it now, and it's a pretty decent game. I've been enjoying it gameplay wise. It's like a very, 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 very light survival game, but the story is okay so far. It's like intriguing enough, but I don't really like the characters, including the main character. That might be blasphemy for some people out there who really like the game. I just think they're all kind of written kind of one-dimensionally, even though the performances are good, but there's not much to go off of when it comes to them as characters. But maybe there's something that will be revealed later in the game that will, you know, really blow my mind. I don't know. Everybody says the ending's really good, so I'll find out when I get there. But yeah, playing an old PS4 game and playing through it for the first time. I haven't been playing it recently, but I bought that Ratchet and Clank game that I never beat on PS5, and that plays awesome on PC as well. So also Returnal plays awesome on PC. So all the PlayStation ports over to PC have been like really good in my experience so far. So that's been cool to see. Yeah, I'll probably keep playing Days Gone. I think I'm just gonna beat it because it's been a long time coming anyway. It's one of those games, and you guys know me, like I'm playing like every fucking game when they come out. And I did play Days Gone when it came out, but it never had a huge interest for me just because I think I was like still so into The Last of Us. I was like, this isn't gonna be as good. Why would I waste my time? So now it's kind of the perfect time to play it. But it is weird to be playing a game that was pretty hyped when it came out, and I just kind of skipped over it. It's kind of a rare thing for me to go back and play through a game that I never really gave a good chance. So yeah, been enjoying that. I played more of the Concord beta, the open beta that happened this last weekend. This was open to PC and PS5. The last one before that was open to PS5, but you had to purchase your way into the PC one. It's pretty fun. I think the gameplay of Concord is good. I think the game modes are serviceable. They're exactly like every other game, so nothing exciting there. As I said, last Taste Cast, I think the characters are boring. I can't think of a game where there's 16 characters and I think all of them look stupid. This is the first time I've experienced that. And that's me being nice, because a lot of people are really ripping this game apart when it comes to characters and stuff like that. I just think it's confusing how all of them, it's like they did it on purpose. They wanted them all to be like dollar store Guardians of the Galaxy. It's weird, because the rest of the game, graphics are fantastic. The animations are like really good. It's like a super AAA game, but it's just the design. And it's hard to want to play a shooter when there's so many shooters out there that are similar to it and not like the way the game looks design-wise, because like I play, as you guys know, a lot of the finals, and the finals has like the best cosmetics in first-person shooters out there. I like the way my character looks. I like the shit I get to buy for my character to make him look however I want. That's not in this game. There's nothing about Concord visually that I'm going to be like, oh, hell yeah, I got this skin, because I already think that character looks fucking stupid. So that's kind of a tough one. Trying to be optimistic, though. I do think, mark my words, maybe they already announced something, I don't know. I don't follow Concord news. I think it's possible this game might either launch or eventually be a PlayStation Plus essential game fairly quickly. It's a $40 game when it's releasing, apparently. It'd be kind of fucked up if it came out for $40 on PC and it was free on PlayStation, but they've done shit like that before.
I imagine Sony still wants to incentivize people to play on Sony. So
sure, yeah, and that'd be good incentive. Good reward for people who have the console. They're selling for $40, and the hype on the game is like almost non-existent. I talked to a lot of people who really like it. I think it's fun, so I'm being completely fair about it. My problems are with it feeling kind of uninspired in its design and the characters. That's it. But there's a lot of people who really are not interested in this game, whether it's because they're on purposely like going out of their way and going like, oh, fuck that game, I'm not going to play it, or there's so many people I've talked to, specifically like over on X and like TikTok, of people going like, is it good? It doesn't even look good. I'm like, yeah, it's actually pretty good. It's pretty fun. Like, I'm not going to lie to you. Like, it's pretty legit, but all the game modes are in every other game too. So, you know, if you just want something new, try this out. So with that reception, I don't know how well the game's going to do. And then on Steam, Thursday, the first day of the beta, they had 2,300 concurrent players, and that just dropped through the whole weekend. That's a dud.
Yeah.
That's really bad for a fucking open beta for a game. And this isn't even like a low quality like indie game or something like that. This is like a high quality AAA, you know, Sony made game. So it's kind of fucking crazy. I don't think the game will probably do well. So
yeah, they're gonna have to play the long game with it.
They should. I think they should just invest, don't pull an Xbox and just fucking kill it as soon as it doesn't do bad or doesn't do good.
Just picture Spencer having the old boomstick behind his office chair.
Dude, the amount of things, like as soon as it doesn't do like as well as they wanted to, there's like, well, that's over.
Yeah.
So I hope they do invest in it and go for the long run, but I would not be surprised to see this game go free to play, like fairly quickly, just to get people on the servers. I see a lot of people complaining that it's $40, and I'm like, $40 is pretty cheap. It's not full price, and it's a AAA game, but 16 characters at launch, that's pretty fucking crazy. They're all very different feeling, but yeah, it's the visuals. I think people.
That's interesting.
What?
Complaining about $40.
Yeah, well, like I said, there's already a really strong preconceived idea of this game just sucks. And so if you already have that idea and then you see that they're charging for it when you think, you know, Overwatch 2 already exists and that's free to play, why would I play this? I get where you're coming from, but I think people should try it. Because I think a lot of people don't realize it's actually a very solid shooter if you can get past the visuals. And I don't mean graphically, because the graphics are fantastic, but just like you look at the characters, you're like, what is that? I'm not into that. So even people who are like talking up on my TikTok earlier today were like, yeah, I don't really like the characters either, but the game's fun. I'm like, I fucking agree with you. Like, I think the game's actually super solid. Somebody who's like an Xbox influencer was like, they need to delay the game and just make sure to tighten some stuff up and patch it up and make sure it launches well. I'm like, it's fine. The game plays great. Like, I don't know what you're talking about. Mm-hmm. It's a perception thing. There are people looking at the game going, fuck that game. I don't want to play that. That's not because the game's not working well. Why is that thing going off so much? I keep looking back. This is a misty taste. This is Misty Cast.
Spooky test.
Yeah. Spooky Cast. For sure. Anyway, yeah, they're talking like, oh, they need to delay it so they make sure it launches well. I'm like, it's fucking fine. The game plays really good already. So anyway, just a quick tangent on that. If you're curious about Concord, even slightly, I would say check it out. It is, at the very least, better than competent as a first-person shooter. So yeah, I'm not like super excited for it just because like you have to look at the characters when you play the game and they all look dorky. So I'm just not into them. But I feel the same about fucking Fortnite, even though Fortnite has like so many characters from things I do like that it's harder to judge it in the same way. Like Alan Wake is in Fortnite.
Also, I've never heard a person say that the gameplay is bad. Never.
Yeah, it's fucking epic. So, on their engine, like they're not gonna fuck that up. But I gotta stress that this game also plays really well. Like I don't know the background of the people who worked on this, but they made a really really well playing first person shooter. So check it out for that at the very least. But again, it looks like shit. I get it. Okay, so me and Josh were dabbling in some extraction shooters over the weekend, and so we played Gray Zone Warfare. The longest time I've played it now was over the weekend. Before that, I would like dabble, and I'm like, I don't got time to fucking learn this game. So me and Josh hopped in. We learned by trial by fire. In Gray Zone Warfare, if you don't know, it is an extraction shooter where you start at a base. You have to call on a helo. It flies you to an LZ. It drops you off, and then you have missions to do across this map. You can either play it on the PvP or PvE server. We were playing on PvE, which is nice because you don't have to worry about other players. But if you play it on PvP, you have to fight against NPCs and other players. The thing that's smart about its design is you have 3 factions in a triangle shape across the map. They all have their starting points. The towns closest to them is not as likely to run into other groups, but the further you get into the center of the map, the better the loot, the harder the NPCs, but that's also where everybody's going to be. So it's got a really interesting system for that. In PvE, you only have to worry about the NPCs. It also has a really interesting system as well where it doesn't have HP. You don't shoot people and their health goes down until they die. It has a bleed out system. So the ballistics are simulated where they enter and where they expand from entering through the body and exit. And you have to control bleeding, stop bleeding, stuff like that. If you shoot somebody in the head or the heart, it's an insta-kill if it hits. There's one shootout me and Josh were in where... and it's funny because like you're trying to be careful, obviously, about not getting shot in the game, but also placing shots correctly because there's limited ammo. You got to scavenge for ammo when you're out in the field. But I'm sitting there firing at these guys. We're dropping dudes in the street or whatever. We're calling out targets, and all of a sudden I just hear like a thump, and my guy goes, "Ooh!" And like my vision went kind of crazy. I was like, "Shit, I got shot!" And I like went behind the wall, and in the top left corner it has all these like status effects, and I was like looking. I'm like, it didn't penetrate. And I fucking looked at my health, and it showed an impact right next to my heart, but my bulletproof vest stopped the round. So my guy still like took damage and like was dazed and stuff like that, but it didn't kill me. But if it would have went through, it would have murdered me. So I was like, that's fucking crazy. Yeah. Like, that's one of the first times in a game where I felt like the armor actually stopped the penetration that would have killed me, as opposed to the armor lessened the damage I took from the round. So that's a pretty cool system. It's also scary because there's one point where I got stuck in a bathroom and I came out and dudes are running at me. I started just fucking unloading at them because I was like, I already got shot in the leg. And I watched the bullets hitting them and they're firing back and they're yelling and shit. And one guy starts retreating, the other guy's still shooting at me. I run back in the bathroom and I hear a guy start yelling, and then it just stopped. And then it got quiet out there. I was like, what the fuck? I go out, the guy who was closest is on the ground dead, and the other guy's gone. I end up finding him in another bush. So they both just bled out eventually and then ran off. So I'm like, that's pretty gnarly. I ended up dying too, though, so I had to like respawn, go back and grab my shit. But the game is, it definitely gives me, it itches that Arma scratch that I have, or scratches that itch. So I love Arma, big fan of Arma, and haven't been playing it recently, but this game definitely has that kind of vibe, has that, you need to be careful with everything you do. You can die, lose all your shit. It's fun to play with Josh. The pacing is slow and steady, which I really like. And yeah, I plan on playing it more. Although that's a game you need to be able to invest some time in because like we got in this whole shootout is in this marketplace and we were there for like fucking 30, 40 minutes just trying to survive. It wasn't like you're just walking through shooting everybody like an FPS. It's like we can't even leave if we want to because we don't know where everybody's at. We got to run. Right. You get hit and just get killed. You can get nicked and bleed out. Like, so we had to like be really careful. And Josh like, I got to hop off. And I'm like, okay, let's get out of the marketplace. Let's get back out into the field. Let's get to the LZ. We'll head back and then you can hop off. But even when we went out to the field, we're running through the field. I look over. There's like guys over on a bridge. I'm like, shit. And then to the right, there's like a building with some guys on. I'm like, this would be a really bad place to get into a firefight because now we'll be surrounded.
Right.
We end up getting out, but it's pretty fun. I need to play it more. We played some Marauders, which is a game that we used to play quite a bit. It's very similar to Hunt Showdown. You get in a ship, you fly and dock at another ship. You go out into the ship, and you have to shoot through NPCs and other players, find like gear, and then extract. The game's population is dwindling though because it was taking like 10 minutes to get into a match, which is pretty bad. One time took about 16 minutes.
It's a long time.
Yeah, and they're like not reintroducing. Well, they reworked a map, but they are bringing out new content for the game. And Josh is like, are they going to rework the matchmaking? I'm like, they need to rework getting people on the servers before they do matchmaking. Yeah, we played that for a little bit. That's pretty fun. It's also a very unforgiving game, although not as unforgiving. But yeah, it's kind of sad to see that game dwindling because it's a lot of fun, but just apparently people aren't playing it. So,
was that the one that had the people who were just showing up ships early on?
Doing what?
Early on when the game first came out, people were able to just kind of like all of a sudden be in your ship.
Oh yeah, there's hackers.
Okay.
They would just be in your ship. So when you're out in space before you enter the main ship, you're in your ship. You can get into combat with other people in space, and people can launch out of an escape pod and drill into the side of your ship. And so you typically know if somebody's attacking you because you're warned. There's hackers early on who just like appear in your ship and shoot you and shit. So yeah, I haven't seen that in a while, but yeah, it's still a lot of fun. It just takes too long to get into a match, so it kind of sucks. Because we're having fun, but like it's like I don't want to wait like 10, 15 minutes every time we want to fucking do a raid. So they need to implement either allowing you to join a server without other players and let them join later, even though it's like I think a 20-minute match time before the match ends, or just allow for PvE, because it's only going to kill the game faster if it takes. I mean, we want to play it and we can't.
Yeah.
So they got to figure that out. So if you're a dev who works on Marauders and somehow you found this video, work that out, because I want to play your game, but the wait time is just too much. So yeah. And then last game we played was a game called Dungeonborne. Dungeonborne is similar to Dark and Darker, if you guys know what that is. It is an extraction dungeon crawler, first-person game. You pick a class, a mage, a fighter, sword and board, rogue. You go into a dungeon, you fight through NPCs and other players, and you get loot, and then you have to find a portal to escape. That's Dark and Darker. Dungeonborne, similar. Dungeonborne is a newer game. I think it just came out. And overall, it seems like a better game. Dark and Darker is a really cool concept. Me and Josh played it a couple times, but combat in Dark and Darker is so simple that it's not fun, which is really important when you play any game, to have fun with the combat. You want to enjoy when you fight things. And in Dark and Darker, it's not that fun. It feels grueling, simplistic, punishing, but not like punishing like they're doing something advanced with like the AI or combat. It's just like you just swing your sword, they swing back, you die quickly. it's not that fun. Dungeonborne actually introduces a lot of things with the combat. The combat's a little more advanced, a lot more different types of weapons. Classes have much more diverse moves. Like I play a sword master, which is a dude who basically uses any swords, but he has 2 moves that use swords as ammo. So he doesn't use magic, but he has abilities. So one of my moves is swords will float out in front of me, and then I can launch them into you. The thing that's weird about it, though, is those swords don't come back. So you have to purchase these swords to shoot. It's like ammo. And then another move he has is the swords fly around you in a circle. So when you're in combat, people staying close to you are taking damage from the swords. You also lose those swords as well. So every time we go into a raid, I go to the store real quick and I buy these like rusty swords that are $25 a piece. And for reference, I have like $70,000 right now, so it's pretty cheap. And I'll load up 4 on my character, and I'll load up another 4 in my inventory. And if I find more on the raid, I'll put them in there. But that way, I have 2 times I can use that move, basically. It's pretty OP. Because from a distance, I shoot with 4 swords. It does a lot of damage, as long as I hit. But then there's mage-type classes. Josh was playing a priest for a while who does healing moves. They have to drink mana to rebuild their mana potions to rebuild their mana. And then there's like what the fuck is he, like a death knight? It's like a skeleton dude. He has to hurt people to get his mana back, basically. So there's all these different things to the classes that makes them interesting, which is fun because it makes the combat more interesting. You have to know who you're fighting, know what they're capable of. It also has a really cool system where you have your base stats, and then the gear you put on increases those stats. And then if you get certain stats to a certain point, like get like to 60 dex or whatever, you unlock more abilities. So the higher your gear, the stronger your abilities will become. But if you die, you lose all your gear, and you lose all those abilities. You want to stay geared up. So it's kind of a cool system. So far, there's, I think, 2 maps. We've only played one of the maps, and it's pretty big. It's like, it feels inspired by Dark Souls because it's like super intricate. Like, at first I thought it was really simple, but there's a lot of verticality, a lot of nooks and crannies, a lot of like, you come out here, all of a sudden you remember you were over there at one point. It's a pretty good design, and yeah, it's been pretty fun so far. I definitely want to play it more. And do I have anything else to say on it? No. Let me know in the comments, though, if you've played Dungeonborne or if you plan on playing it. Do you have anything else? No. Say. But yeah, that's all I've been playing. Let me know in the comments what games have you guys been playing. Like I said, have you played Dungeonborne? Have you played Grey Zone? Have you been playing Final Fantasy 14, Elden Ring, all that stuff? And yeah, what have you been playing? What do you plan on playing? And what should we play? Let us know everything you're thinking about in the comments below. All right, so we got a couple of videos we're going to watch. First one being Sean Murray Explains No Man's Sky Worlds Part 1, assuming there's going to be a Part 2. But yeah, No Man's Sky, the game that just keeps on chugging. Talk about a comeback story like CD Projekt Red with 2077. No Man's Sky for a while now has been in a great place, I would argue, and apparently they still have more coming out for it, including Worlds, which I've only loosely heard a little bit about, but it sounds like they're redoing a lot of things.
The whole universe is getting redone.
Yeah, which is fucking crazy.
Yeah.
And they're also adding content. I know they're doing something with mechs or something.
There's already mechs in the game.
Yeah, but they're doing something with them.
I don't remember specifically that. I did watch I haven't watched this video specifically, but I watched the trailer, and I know one of the big things is basically a lot of the tech they learned from making their new game that's coming out, they're basically bringing into No Man's Sky.
It's kind of amazing that they're working on another game, and they're still working on this game.
Yes.
And they still haven't charged anything.
Yeah, it's every time an update for this comes out, Twitter's just full of posts of basically like, Sean, let me pay you.
Yeah. Yeah, it's fucking wild. Anyway, I haven't played No Man's Sky in a little bit, but
Same.
I have played it. I do like it. I would like to go back and play it at some point if I had time for just a sandbox where you do whatever the fuck you want in it.
Yeah.
Especially in VR, it's a very immersive experience. But maybe something from this will make me want to play it, because the first time I played it was when it came out, and I was like, oh no, people are going to be really upset with this game. And they were. Long time has gone by. They've added a lot of fucking content to the game, fixed all the problems. And so much so that when I last played it, I think we played it for... Did we play it for the channel?
Yes.
I had fun.
Yeah.
I was like, this game's fucking solid. No, so I think it'd be easy for me to go back and play it at some point. So I'm really, really curious about what they're doing with this. Also, I'm really curious about their next game, even though it's just going to be a planet.
But it's like a fantasy MMO, basically. I'm so pumped for that.
Yeah, but they also said it's going to be like an actual planet in size, which, when you've already made a game that has the biggest universe ever, it's weird to go down to, well, we're going to make a planet, but because they've done something so ambitious already, now they're saying, like, when you go up a mountain in this game, it's going to be like a real
mountain.
It's like a real mountain.
Yeah.
I'm like, that's pretty crazy, because the
that.
only thing I can think of that's even done anything remotely close to that is like Grand Theft Auto 5. So, and that's not, 1-to-1 with what a real mountain would be. But anyway, I'm really, really curious about that game. But we're not talking about that. We're talking about this. It's amazing. They're still working on this, and I can't wait to find out more about it. Do you have anything you want to say on this?
No, I'll wait till we watch it, because there's things I know I don't want to necessarily say if you haven't seen anything yet. So.
Okay. Yeah, I barely know anything. So this is Sean Murray Explains No Man's Sky Worlds Part 1 in 3, 2, 1, go. That really looks
With
good.
every update, we just want to surprise. New worlds. New gameplay. New technology. We're 8 years in now, and
That's so
we
crazy.
still just want to do really big things.
It's definitely my favorite video game.
Our next update is called Worlds Part 1.
I have seen this.
I'm so proud of the team and the love they're pouring into it. We are completely refreshing the universe with new technology,
How are they
new
making money?
flora, new fauna, and new gameplay.
How are they staying funded?
In No Man's Sky, what you see on screen is generated by the computer. And we're achieving a level of variety that just wasn't possible before. When we started No Man's Sky, I wanted people to feel like they had stepped into the cover of a science fiction novel. Had to create a lot of new technology. New water technology can create waves and reflections.
Okay. I will say, I don't remember looking
Oceans.
like that.
Looked so different to what we had before.
Yeah, it looks great.
Ocean planets feel completely new, and ships can now land on water. 6 months ago, we announced Light No Fire. It's this crazy, ambitious game,
Yeah, Joe.
and we've been working on it for years, and we've learned so many things, and it feels like we're almost bringing this technology back from the future.
Yeah, this is nuts.
Planets have wind patterns, waves are dynamic, and they react to the weather.
That's cool.
Yeah.
My favorite thing in the game might just be flying through the clouds and out into space.
The new clouds.
Yeah, okay. I don't remember that.
Clouds for us are a unique challenge, right? You can see them from space, you can fly through them, you know, you can land on a planet and look up at the sky.
Yeah, those little
You get
touches are
these
really adding a lot of
beautiful
atmosphere.
skies now with just tons of variety. Sometimes a storm hits and, you know, the waves rise, the clouds gather. You've got the atmospherics, the wind, all this technology comes together all at once, and there's nothing like it. On the surface of the planet, we've added these new volumetrics. And you get rolling fog, rain, blizzards, little sparks coming up from the lava. It changes how planets feel, you know? It just makes them feel alive.
Yeah, that's the big difference. Is it feels less like static when you go on a planet. You're just
Across
like, okay,
these
this
new
is the
biomes,
biome,
we've
but
added new creatures for you to discover.
everything's moving.
We're really trying to push on the level of variety. It's not enough for us to just do more. You know, we want to create things that people haven't seen before. Expeditions have become a huge part of how folks play the game. And this new one is very sort of Starship Troopers inspired. It's something really different. It takes you on a tour of some of these cool new planets that we've added. Everyone is battling together. Progress is community driven, and the rewards are super cool. Something I love is to browse the screenshots that people share with us.
Yeah, he would post stuff all the time with her.
I can't wait for people to explore this universe we've made with fresh eyes.
It's gonna be real fresh for me because I play like twice in 2 different intervals.
Get the beginning of the game and then a more modern version.
Yeah.
The update is called Worlds Part 1 because I guess there's much more to come.
Who's funding them?
Everyone
can't
when they
just-
bought the game when it came out.
And they're just like not spending that on other things?
I don't know.
That's fucking crazy. Yeah, so that's my first time seeing that. I could have swore I read something about they're adding something to mechs, but I don't remember. But other than that, it seems like the emphasis, the focus is on, like he said, all this tech that they have been establishing for the other game, put into this game, and that, adding denser foliage, moving foliage, water, the expedition thing. I'm not sure what that is. Is that like a quest line type thing?
I haven't messed with that.
Okay, I've never done it either. So
Game's massive, so
yeah. But adding a Starship Troopers inspired thing sounds fucking cool. But it's crazy that 8 years into a game like this, it's almost being treated like an MMO.
Yeah.
Where it's getting a facelift that you would see in like an MMO. So that's kind of crazy.
Yeah.
But it's not just a facelift because they're not just like increasing textures on pre-existing stuff. They're adding tech to it, which is really kind of crazy. Especially when he's talking about the water being affected by the wind and tides being able to go in and out. That's really fucking insane.
Yeah, and then actual clouds now.
Yeah, and the clouds, which I think is really cool. I feel like that's something that maybe should have been in the game already, but maybe they didn't have the tech for it. They do now.
Especially with the seamless loading. So.
Yeah, and I'm not saying it should have been in there like, oh, they should have had that. I'm saying like in a game like this where you're flying, into and out of planets constantly or onto, clouds are going to be such a part of the atmosphere of flying in the sky. So I'm glad they even thought to do that this late into the game, because at this point they could easily just go like, hey, that's the game.
Yeah.
Enjoy. There's plenty to do. We got to work on our new game. But while they're working on the new game, they're still working on this, and he makes it sound like they still have plenty of things planned for it. I mean, like that they're calling this Worlds Part 1. There's obviously going to be a Worlds Part 2, but he sounded like they're not even remotely done with the game.
Well, because I know this was a passion project to begin with.
Yeah.
And so, like, I imagine that's just the drive constantly. It's just like, making for them, the sci-fi game they wanted to make. And
Yeah.
And now they're making a fantasy game. So, like...
Yeah. It's just crazy that, like, this game was already super ambitious when it was first announced. Regardless of the multiplayer aspects that weren't there at the time when they released the game. The ambition was crazy. It was like 8 people originally that made the fucking game. And to see where it's come now is so crazy. Obviously, it looks like they've grown quite a bit. So I'm just confused, like, if that's just game sales or if they got, like, funders. But, yeah, it's just really cool. Really cool to see how far this has come along. This actually does make me want to fucking play this shit. So maybe next Tastecast I'll have revisited it. Did they say in the video when this is coming out?
I didn't catch it if they did.
I'm kind of curious about the expeditions thing, too, because the last time I played, I was just kind of, like, hanging out on one planet, kind of, like, just building. Also playing in VR, so I was kind of just vibing to that. But this definitely makes me want to play in a more, I don't know, working towards something way.
The big thing I was still, like, I was just kind of, like, getting distracted constantly last time I played, but I was slowly working towards, like, trying to find, like, a planet I wanted to call home. And I found one that's kind of cool, and I put up shop there, because you can have multiple bases anyways, and you can teleport between them. But, like, every time he shows that very lush, green grass planet, I'm like, I kind of want something like that, but I want some, like, trees as well. Like, I don't know. I know eventually you'll find something that fits your wants and stuff like that when you're that, but I just haven't found a place I want to build, like, my mega base at yet. So
You were playing this in VR on PS5.
and it has crossplay and
And
VR,
it has crossplay because we played together.
Yep, and VR and non-VR can play together.
Yeah, it's fucking really good.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I was playing on my Vive on my PC. I was thinking for a second, like, how did we play together? But yeah, because it has all that covered.
Yeah, so you were on Vive, I was on PSVR 2, and then Chris was playing on PC with keyboard and mouse, and Scream was playing on PlayStation with a controller.
Yeah, which is awesome.
Yeah.
You can do that. So
yeah.
Overall, though, I am really happy with what I saw. This game is I always love revisiting the updates to this game because it's like such the story of keeping your head down and just making things right, and then how to just go above and beyond what most people are even willing to want to try and do. They've done it, so it's really crazy. And I can't wait for the next game too. Their next game sounds so fucking cool. So
yeah, and imagine all the lessons. They've 8 years of dev time on this game.
This just with like CD Projekt Red, with Cyberpunk. Like, I'm excited for the next game. Sadly, because of the mistakes they made with the games that they've fixed. They came out in a way that wasn't the best, but they fixed it and went beyond. And so that hard lesson of failure to success, even though both games sold well enough, they're both highly hyped games. But fixing the fan base as well, their trust in you. There's a lot of lessons to be learned there, and that will go into the next game. So, really excited for that. Yeah, looks awesome. Looks great. Can't wait to try this.
Yeah, if I ever have a moment, give me an excuse to put my VR headset back on too.
I'm about to fucking see if this is installed after we're done filming. I'm not saying I'm going to play tonight, but I just want to check and see if I have that ready to go because I do kind of want to hop back in. So, yeah. Anything else?
Nope.
All right, let us know in the comments what you guys think about Sean Murray's explanation of No Man's Sky Worlds Part 1. What are some of the most exciting features you see here? What are some things that maybe you've read that they didn't cover in the video? Like I said, I keep hearing about the mech thing. I don't know, maybe that's Part 2? I don't know. And what do you think about the current state of No Man's Sky, and what do you want to see from No Man's Sky? Also, are you excited for their next game, something Fire?
Light on Fire.
Yeah. And yeah, let us know everything you think about in the comments below when it comes to all that stuff. Next video we got is Helldivers 2, Escalation of Freedom announcement trailer for PS5 and PC. Helldivers 2, really conveniently, is releasing new content for the game. This is their biggest DLC yet. Around the time, there was like an article that came out like a day or two ago about how the numbers of Helldivers have dropped like 80% or something like that.
Okay.
And everybody's talking about that, going crazy. And I was like, all games, their populations drop. There's too many fucking games to play now.
Right,
People are
right.
like talking like it's a failure thing. I'm like, no, people played it, people loved it. They've probably done everything. They're waiting for new content. They're gonna play other things. They'll come back. That's the fucking state of gaming right now. There's too many games to play. You're lucky if you have one game you can just play over and over and over again.
Or you're just dedicated.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, I don't view now Helldivers 2's population dropping. But with that, they're dropping new content, so that's going to pop right the fuck back up. So I don't know what they're adding with this. I haven't looked into it at all, but I'm excited to hear that they are adding. So, I heard they're adding a new difficulty beyond the highest difficulty they have, which is cool because I'm sure there's people out there who have already beaten that and won a bigger challenge. But yeah, I'm excited to find out what they're adding to Helldivers 2. The game is fantastic. We played it when it came out. I haven't really played it much lately, but I would definitely hop back into Helldivers 2 like easily. So with new content, I can see myself doing that. You got anything you want to say?
I mean, I don't even feel like I did everything I wanted to do in the game anyways. But like you kind of said, there's just so much stuff to play. And Helldivers, though you could say you've collected everything, is kind of an endless game, and I'm trying to play less of those, which is hard because a lot of my comfort games are endless. So
yeah, it's sad. I played the shell Helldivers 2, but I did it early on to the point where I got to the level, I think it was like level 20 something. That was like the last like highest level you had to get to have access to everything. And I was like, okay, that kind of sucks. I already reached this. But this was like right before mechs came out. And mechs have come out. There's a bunch of stuff that's come out since then. They've increased rewards for levels past 20. So I'm sure anybody who plays the game regularly or was playing it a lot is like, yeah, dude, there's a bunch of shit now. But when I was playing, that's where it was. So if I hop back in now, I'd have like plenty of shit to work towards. So, and now with this, even more stuff. So
yeah.
I'm glad they're aggressively supporting this game, though, because it was fucking solid out the gate. And obviously, high-hyped game. And a game that you could easily support for 8 years, like No Man's Sky, and get people playing it for a long time. So
it's also worth mentioning that even if the player numbers did drop, their initial expectation was like super low compared to what they hit. So I think they were only expecting like maybe 10,000 players to begin with.
Yeah, people don't get how like small the first game was.
Yeah.
Like I was one of the people who really liked that game, and so I was hyped for Helldivers 2, and a lot of people were like, I don't fucking know much about that.
Yeah.
And that came out, got super popular. They're like, whoa, holy shit, this is like way bigger than we thought. So yeah, dropping down is not good for any game technically until you get people to come back, but for a dev that wasn't even expecting to get what they got in the first place, I'm sure they're fine.
Yeah.
So, anything else?
No.
All right, let's watch this, find out what they are adding, and then we'll talk about it. This is Helldivers 2, Escalation of Freedom announcement trailer in 3, 2, 1, go.
Since launch, we've improved Helldivers quite significantly together with you, the community. We've released a lot of content, such as the flyers, the TCS missions, the destruction of an entire planet.
What's in there for that?
This time around, we've got something special prepared for you.
It's our first step out of many, where we're gonna expand the game in big, meaningful ways.
New game modes, new objectives,
Cool.
new enemies, and even a whole new difficulty.
To give you that, we have to escalate it. An escalation of freedom.
Yeah, more objectives, more things to do on planets. I mean, just keep adding more shit
When
like that.
freedom escalates,
variety's
its
good.
opponents escalate.
We're bringing back a fan favorite from Helldivers 1, the stabby, tentacled beast known as the Impaler.
When you're playing against the Terminids, you can always try and run away. The Impaler ruins that plan. They will maybe cut off your escape route, and then you will probably have to stay and fight. Or you can fight the tentacles.
The Spore Charger. This one has fog traveling around it. It's constantly moving, so it's going to come right out of the fog and scare the lights out of you.
That's scary.
The automatons are bringing in artillery.
A big tank that shoots rockets.
If you're further away, you can see it aimed towards the skies and fire rockets in the air, so you'll have a barrage coming down on you.
In addition, you'll face off against heavier, more deadly brood commanders.
With a small twist. The allies that it spawned will not be the ones that you used to.
Difficulty 10 has more enemies than we've had before on lower difficulties. We've really ramped it up. It's meant to feel like a real progression from 9 to 10.
We're also introducing a larger type of outpost, and it's going to be a real challenge to take on these massive fortresses. But if you manage to do so, there will be great rewards waiting for you. Of course, what would the galaxy be without planets? Therefore, we wanted to spook it up with a new version of the swamp environment.
It's pretty spooky.
True.
The acid storm weather effect now comes with a new mechanic. It reduces the armor of enemies and Helldivers alike. You'll do a lot more damage, but you'll also take more in return, which is just as horrifying as it sounds.
In Escalation of Freedom, we have new objectives coming in, like the Retrieve Larva mission, where you find this backpack with little crying larvae that you need to reach the extraction with. But you also have to be careful because it's gonna be crying a lot, and you're getting swarmed by more and more Terminids.
With the Second Galactic War in full swing, Super Earth is currently battling the automatons and the bugs for control of the Milky Way. The Automaton Legion, they are constantly building bigger and worse war machines. The Terminids' migration patterns seem to be changing. There's also been some irregular readings of the Terminid spores in the various sectors where the Terminids are spreading. And we will see where the story develops from here.
So, have we told you everything that's gonna be in the Escalation of Freedom? Of course we haven't.
We have many more surprises in store for you.
A surprise here and there that you maybe didn't expect.
On August 6th, I'm ready to dive, and I hope you are too.
Around the corner. This is a terrible idea to watch these two videos. This makes me want to revisit games I don't need to play right now.
I mean, true.
What do we think?
I mean, it looks cool. The difficulty thing is like way out of my grasp at this point. 'Cause, like, I wasn't even playing. I don't think I'm even halfway through that. So, but yeah, I mean, I'm happy that they're still like working on and adding things. I am kind of wondering when the next faction is going to show up, because I know there was multiple factions in the first game, and I can't imagine they won't do that again, especially because I think they've already hinted at it in this game a couple times.
Yeah.
And then they've done cool events, which I like seeing games do. I think Fortnite was a really big, like, you know, show of that early on, where they're just like, check out these huge, like, world-changing events, and a lot of people obviously got very inspired by that. So
yeah, Fortnite doesn't get enough credit for that.
Yeah.
Like, even if you're not into Fortnite, like, their idea of evolving the game in real time in front of you, basically, is a pretty neat concept, and they're definitely doing that.
Yeah.
So.
Well, and then even like with you playing the finals, they're doing a similar thing too, where they kind of like expand the world every season or whatever.
Yep.
So
Definitely taking a note from Fortnite.
which is cool because like if you are the type of person who is a regular to the game or like, you know, constantly revisiting it, like in vain of something like, you know, for example, like Path of Exile or a game like that where you come back every time an update comes out, which this will probably be a very similar situation with this game. There's always more to take in than just going in and shooting stuff. It's just, you know, more expanding of the world, which makes it just a little more, it gives a little more flavor to the gameplay experience, which is something I really appreciate. So other than that, I'm very out of touch with this game at this point because I played before any major updates came out. So
yeah, same. I'm very out of touch with it. This is awesome looking though. I love that they are already working on new objectives to do on the planets, new activities. That's going to be huge because in a game you are repeating, you know, missions, planets, stuff like that. Luckily, the game's dynamic enough that every mission feels different, but eventually you might find it feeling repetitive. And so just adding more random things to do will help with that. I like the new biome. It reminds me of Hunt Showdown, which I fucking love. So that's pretty cool. The promise of more events and things coming is exciting. They've already shown that they are very capable of handling that well, in my opinion. That fucking planet sounds like shit.
the acid rain. Yeah.
Yeah. Or yeah, the weather effect or whatever. Did they ever explain what this is? That juicy thing?
No, they just
keep
new
showing
game
it.
modes and then showed the juicer and then the kidnapping of the bug version of Baby.
Which is an interesting objective because you just have to escort it, but it becomes more and more dangerous because it's just crying more. So I think that's actually pretty creative. What else did they mention? Oh, the difficulty. That doesn't affect me a whole lot because I never got to the max difficulty when I was playing, although I think it was like 3 away from it or something like that. I don't remember. But for the people who have already just like grinded the fuck out of this game, probably playing with like teams that, you know, are knocking out the hardest difficulty, this will be a definite reason for people to come back and play it because now they have something else to conquer, something that they've said is a big upgrade from that. So that's really cool for those people to come back, experience a harder difficulty, something to work towards, and new rewards and new things to look forward to. So I think they're handling this game really well, even if the population has dipped currently. They're obviously they have a roadmap that they are working with and releasing at a good pace, in my opinion. So even though I haven't been playing it, but this game I would be playing or would have played more if I was playing with people more regularly. This is a game I didn't really like playing with randos a whole lot. So yeah, if I ever get some people together to start playing it again, I think it'd be very easy to get back into. So
Yeah.
but yeah, really excited for the future of Helldivers 2. I love the support that they're giving it, and I can't wait to see what this game looks like in like a year or two because they're just doing such a great job with it. So, anything else?
Nope.
All right, let us know in the comments. What do you guys think about Helldivers 2 Escalation of Freedom announcement trailer? What are some of your favorite or most exciting things they're adding to the game? What are things you'd like to see them add to the game? And what do you think about the state of Helldivers 2? Have you been playing it? Have you did you stop playing it? Have you never played it? Why haven't you played it? Let us know everything you think about in the comments below when it comes to Helldivers 2. Last video we are watching is Soulframe Prelude TennoCon 2024 gameplay. TennoCon happened. We didn't cover it because we don't play Warframe anymore, really. We both love Warframe. We both used to play Warframe quite a bit. We've kind of fallen out of it, and we just haven't returned to it. And at this point, the game's so far into its life cycle that, I wouldn't say I would never come back to it, but I just have so many other things I'm playing. With that, though, Soulframe, the next game, is being worked on, and I'm definitely very interested in what they have to show for that. But we didn't cover the Warframe stuff at TennoCon. We also, and let us know in the comments if we should, there's that Warframe 1999 thing. I'm still not sure exactly what it is.
Yeah, no, I didn't even know about it. So,
well, I think we watched something on a while back, but it almost reminds me of like Dark Sector or something like that. Their early game. But yeah, people keep talking about it. But I'm like, do you have to be currently playing Warframe? And I'm asking you guys, if you guys want to answer this in the comments, do you have to currently be playing Warframe for Warframe 1999 to even matter? Because at that point, it'd be, why would we watch that? But
yeah,
if it's something we should watch, maybe it's just like a standalone thing. Let us know in the comments. But anyway, with that, we're going to watch this Soulframe Prelude gameplay. It's like 18 minutes long. This is a game I'm looking forward to. I love DE. I love Warframe, what they did with it. It is getting a little old at this point, though, and as much as the gameplay is fun, I'm curious to see what the future of DE is in terms of the games they're making, and this is their next game. So we saw a small thing of it before, and it looked really cool. It's more like fantasy-esque, which is really interesting, while maintaining some Warframe-y type stuff to it seems. But other than that, I don't know much about it, so I'm looking forward to watching this video. You got anything to say?
I mean, not really. I'm pretty, by pretty, I mean I'm very disconnected with Warframe at this point. Last time I played, Plains of Eidolon wasn't even out yet, so that'll give context to people who do play the game. So I'm very out of loop with Warframe itself, and then with this game, I don't even really remember the first video we watched for it at this point, because it was a while ago. So.
Oh, all right. Well, hopefully this is cool enough to make an impression for you. This is Soulframe Preludes, TennoCon 2024 gameplay in 3, 2, 1, go. I'm also interested in this because Steve is working on this. I believe he left working on Warframe, I believe, to work on this.
That night of old.
He's kind of the guy doing a lot of cool stuff with Warframe. So.
Not by nog, but heart. A rally drum. Sense.
Or critique something after that. The music is very loud compared to everything.
Yeah, I think this is from their live stream. I'm sure they'll release a better.
Yeah, and that wasn't a game critique. That was this video critique.
Very similar to what we said about No Man's Sky and Cyberpunk. All the things they've learned working on Warframe, I'm really excited to see what they do with Soulframe. Because Warframe went from fucking Left 4 Dead in space to what it is now.
Yeah,
so true.
Her face.
Oh, okay.
A copper glow, like amber rocks, a wealth of warmth, and of her locks. A downy cloud blown across the skies.
Where they drop down the knees.
Like nightlark feathers o'er her eyes. Of honey made of spotted dough. Last love she saw was you. I know. Love last it was that sent you so.
That's the baby in the basket.
Now the Helldivers are going to come in and take it. Oh, your baby's supposed to look like that.
So that was a sneak peek at War Song Prologue. As I mentioned, it's the intro quest, and what you saw there is how you create the first customization template of your character.
Interesting.
There'll be more for that to come, so you can customize further.
I love this beaver.
We're jumping a bit now to a bit of a showcase on how you can get the next ancestor.
Yeah, that's a real peaceful nap everyone's having. Until you ruined it. That's trippy.
That's pretty trippy.
The Nightfold. So what's really cool if you're in Preludes is you can go here anytime. It's kind of like having your orbiter at the snap of a finger. So you can go in here, you can talk to your ancestors, work on your meta, queue crafting, look at the lore you just unlocked, change your weapons. As long as there's no aggro enemies in the vicinity, at any time you can go into the Nightfold. And as you collect your ancestors, it's kind of like building a village within this kind of purgatory plane.
Okay.
Yeah, you can rock over to the...
Yeah, it reminds me of like Alan Wake 2, where you can go into the mine
just
place
run on into the tent
at any time.
You can hear all the different musical cues here that we've been working on as well. Each ancestor has their own, which is pretty cool, I think. A lot of traditional instrumentation used and suits their personalities. Same with the voices, custom voices and all of that.
So this is our crafting interface. Basically, sort of throughout the world, you'll find little fragments of weapons that have been broken into pieces, and you'll bring them back to Tolkai over here to reassemble them. And as you reassemble more, she'll become less self-conscious about herself.
Got imposter syndrome.
Yeah, real imposter syndrome hitting hard. I relate.
Question for people in the comments: is Soulframe Preludes different than Soulframe? Is it something that's going to come out before that, or what is that?
Most important feature.
And then, Joe will give us a sneak peek at our arsenal that we'll have probably a better name for, and he'll just swap out some gear and maybe a little cosmetic change.
This is also supposed to be like a service game, right?
Yeah. Early on, they said like it's multiplayer. There's gonna be dungeons, but they're like randomized or something when you go in them. I don't know if that's still the case or not, because obviously things have changed, but yeah, it's supposed to be like an online game. So I'm wondering what Preludes
So yeah,
is.
let's just show a bit of work in progress for the next ancestor coming to Preludes.
Nice if you would have killed him if you snuck up on him. Combat's definitely different than Warframe.
Yeah. I have to get my hands on it, but visually that was kind of cool.
Yeah, I'm sure they're still working on it.
Oh, for sure.
So you get, dude. glowing leaves thing. I like the art style too. The atmosphere is really good.
Yeah, monsters are very mystical.
Yeah. Sort of God of War-esque.
When Nimbus gather, no one watch. The Everstorm.
Also, like he ran away. What happened?
Fog effect.
Yeah, and I think the art direction is good.
Yeah.
It's hard to tell the actual like graphic quality because the video is definitely not a good upload.
Yeah.
But
this is directed from Soulframe as well, so.
Yeah, the art direction is more the kind of the mystical feel of it. I'm digging as well. Honestly, my only complaint, and again, getting hands on it will make it a little different. But
yeah,
the combat seems okay.
Yeah, I agree with that. I like everything I'm seeing here, but the combat looks like okay, like you're saying, but also when he's fighting the guys earlier, how they're like falling into like walls, and I think they just need to work on it more, maybe. That thing's flying fast as shit. There's also context missing here because we don't know what Soulframe Preludes is, so I'm not even sure like what's really going on here. Like, is this like a single player thing? Or? I'll look this up after, but should have been more prepared. I didn't realize really what the fuck's even going on with Soulframe at this point. I like the art style. Everything looks really cool, but I mean, I like the way Warframe looks too. So
yeah,
it's a super unique looking game. This looks, it's fantasy, but it's like definitely got kind of a weird thing going on that I like.
You sneak! I would have slept your aura from here, where my sight's not drowned in brine. I am the witch Verminia. Enchantée. May you grant us some color and learn some taste besides.
There's French people in this world.
It's made in Canada.
Oh, envoy, before you go, un amuse-bouche.
That was one of the ancestors. Is that? This thunder guys like up in your ass, man.
True. That's what the Preludes is. Every time he encounters you, there's many of them. The game definitely feels inspired lightly by like Dark Souls.
Your weather knowledge of stronger. I weather the fighter.
That's crazy looking though. I think my biggest complaint with the combat is it doesn't feel very impactful. Yeah. When you hit and he hits, like you kind of react to it, but it doesn't seem like. I feel like it could do a little better. Love the imagination though. I think it's fucking cool looking. Is he dead? That guy sucks.
So, I think Joe's going to go introduce you guys to Verminia and her station, where she will provide another progression path.
Oh, yeah. So Verminia is our sort of master colors and elixirs.
That's interesting. It spawns out of the water. That explains why it's so open.
Leader puppets. There would be nest enough for all.
God, the subtitles I cannot hear her.
Hardly better. How am I meant to brew my hues in this washed-out puddle? I know not. Less. The envoy brings us a nibble?
So this isn't final implementation, but we just wanted to give you guys an impression of the kind of customization you'll be able to do for her.
We could just eat
Okay,
you
that's cool.
up.
We're gonna be able to change colors and stuff.
The puppets approve.
I guess she's just
Your
gonna control
aura
that tail sticking.
is showing.
Oh yeah, I didn't notice that.
Now this next one, I don't think anyone would purposely do it, but we were just curious what would happen if a certain DE employee played Soulframe. We wanted to see how Verminia might feel about that.
Ugh. I must hold my nose. Yes, this is so you. Oh, envoy, before you go, my puppets have wished to tell. How you say? Something unsavory.
Bastard.
They squeak of red moaning in the coral glen of saccharine odor that waft from his den. His bell tolls. Its echoes taste faintly of black, of torn parts, of claw marks, of drip, 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 zap.
Oh, that one quick. Anything else? Nothing? Sorry, envoy name. Maybe later. Okay, what do we think?
I mean, we kind of said a lot of it, obviously during it, but I think the visual style of the game is really cool.
It's the opposite of Concord for me. I actually really liked the armor design and character designs and stuff.
Yeah, it definitely has a unique look that kind of makes it stand out, which is hard to do, to to be honest.
Sure.
There's so many, games and forms of media out there. So I'm glad to see they're still able to, because like even Warframe is a very unique game.
I about to say, I 100% agree with you. But even before Warframe with like Dark Sector, they have like a fucking visual style that they do, and this game has it. So yeah. I'm not surprised that they're able to do it, but other people, it's tough.
Yeah. I also like, them, trying out something that isn't, a bunch of sci-fi suits, and guns in space. So, which is funny that we've watched now 2 videos, or 2 devs in this episode that are tackling sci-fi and fantasy.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, there's a lot of looping themes in this Tastecast.
Yeah. And then, some interesting choices. Like, this right here, if you break it down, is literally just drop-down menus with 5 choices. But they made it a little more...
Cinematic,
yeah.
I
So
like the way they did it.
It feels a little nicer than just looking at a menu. Plus, I believe he said there are branching choices you will go through this prelude that will develop the way your character looks.
Yeah, he said this is one of certain amounts of features or whatever. Because we see this, then it jumps over to napping with the animals. So.
Yeah, which reminds me of I've seen a couple games do it now where you're like you pick like a template for your mother and your father, and like that kind of like dictates the way you look and stuff like that. So I feel like they're kind of taking some inspiration from stuff like that.
Definitely.
For here. Yeah, honestly, my I have like one major question, which is like, what the hell is this game? Type of thing, because I have not been following it. So I don't know, like, I assume it's just going to be like Warframe, where it's just going to be a service game and you just keep playing it type of thing. But the combat, if it feels good, I'll stop saying it, but like it visually is a little off and it's kind of weird. And I don't, not to the point where I'm just not going to play it, but I do hope they improve it. So, because I know even like Warframe, they redid combat multiple times in that game.
Yeah,
so.
and luckily, like I said before, Steve, right? That's his name from DE. I remember for years and years and years, they're very transparent with what they're working on, reworking things, implementing new combat systems, all sorts of stuff. So, another dev, I'd be like, hopefully they fix that. But with them, I'm like, if something isn't right, I'm sure they'll just. Steve's very like meticulous and wanting to keep working on things, or he was. I don't know if he still is, and so I assume they'll be like that with this game. So, because I agree. I think honestly, like tonally, musically, atmospherically, everything about this game is really fucking cool. I love that it has this like fantasy look. I love the fog in the trees. It looks so fucking cool. I like the style of clothes. Like everything about this game is fucking really cool stylistically. And I do want to play this like as soon as I can. But combat was the weakest point. And it wasn't bad. It just wasn't like, if it had like really fucking good looking combat, like I'd be like hyped. I'd be going crazy right now because everything else about this looks awesome. And knowing what DE can do with a service game, like I'm already ready to play and spend my money on their game. But combat did seem kind of stiff, kind of like he snuck up on that guy and stabbed him in the back. That didn't look very good because it looked like he kind of just poked him in the back and it barely took any health from him, which is weird.
It seemed pointless.
Yeah. I was like, in work in progress, I'm sure. So before someone says, hey, it's not done yet, I get that. I'm just saying, from what we saw, I would hope that stealth would be rewarded, even if you're going to kill a dude right in front of a bunch of people. I don't know why you would do that, but they showcased it. They're showing it off. And then the combat looks like it's like lock on, like walk around, swing, block kind of combat, which can be cool. I mean, I'm playing Elden Ring right now, and it's fucking phenomenal. A little bit of spoiler there, I guess. So there's room for improvement, but there was some stuff that was kind of weird. Like when he killed the people, they were like falling into walls, and like it looked kind of weird. And those Nimrod fights were like sometimes I didn't even know what the hell they were even doing in their interaction with each other. Like, it just seemed like he was showing up and doing random things, and you're like, oh, you do a couple things, and he's disappeared, and I don't know, it seemed kind of odd. So, but yeah, everything else looks fucking awesome. Like, it looks really cool. I love that they're doing just like more with it than they started with Warframe, like interacting with the dog, whatever you want to call that, the little rock thing that he played the music to, like those little things, like those are things that were slowly were implemented into Warframe over time. They started adding like cool features and stuff like that, and this is starting with that. So, give this game the same amount of time that Warframe had, and I'm sure it's going to be fucking awesome. So, yeah. Again, I just want to emphasize, I really like the style. Even the UI, I think looks cool. So, it's definitely up my alley.
Yeah.
I like the
hub.
The hub looks cool, but I like the visual of falling backwards and coming up from the front as if you're like falling backwards into another world. It's kind of a cool visual the way they did that. So, I really dig that. All right. Anything else? Let us know in the comments. What do you guys think about Soulframe Preludes? Feel free to give us info on this. If you're like, you guys don't know what the hell you're talking about, inform us.
Right.
Inform us, because we haven't been keeping up on it. But I will be keeping up on it after this, because I am really interested in what they're doing with this. But yeah, what are you... what were some of the main things they saw in this that looked really interesting to you? Maybe there's a detail that we missed because we don't have the context that you want to explain. Let us know in the comments. If you have any info on things they've said about this game that you'd like to let us know, let us know in the comments. And are you excited for Soulframe? And are you going to play Soulframe Preludes? I wonder if that's like going to be just like I think it's just an intro to make your character before the game comes out.
I think it's literally just the name they're using for the video.
Maybe.
Because I think it's just the tutorial, basically, at the beginning.
Yeah, that's what I'm wondering. Like, maybe it's just like the beginning. Because I thought I read somewhere that they're giving people access to Preludes. From TennoCon? Maybe that's...
Oh, wow. Yeah, I don't know. Like I said, I haven't been keeping track, so...
I think I read that on X. So I'm like under the impression this is a separate thing from Soulframe. So maybe it's just like you play through the intro, make your character.
Maybe.
And fight Nimrod or where the fuck. Let me know in the comments. Just let me know in the comments.
Yeah.
But yeah, let us know what you think about in the comments below when it comes to Soulframe. Are you excited, not excited? And do you still play Warframe? Let me know. But that's going to do it for this episode of Tasty Cast. As always, thank you for watching, everybody. Thank you for joining me, Chevy. And I've been Seth. Until the next episode, which will be this weekend. We got 2 coming up. Have a good one, guys, and take it easy.